competition in that sense. And Saigon Buffalo, I mean, if they play to their strengths, should be able to secure this win, in my opinion. But Team Flash definitely a team that can do some work, can do some damage. We saw it in the first early game, so let's wait and see what this game has left in store for us.
Yeah, it's such an insanely ballsy opening of a draft, no? Like, Tristana, Caitlyn, Ashe. All your cards on the table, your triple marksman, insanely strong in lane, but very squishy, very easy to punish. Kind of reminds me a bit of Rogue back in the day against Mad Lions, where they got a 10k gold lead, then Wukong just ran over them. So let's see if maybe Team Flash can punish them. And this is actually something Yoshino was known for on Flash 2020, when they played against Gum over and over again, met them in every final and every semi-final, and usually Gum got off to a decent start, a decent lead, and then Yoshino on the Malphite, on all the team fighting champions, made an engage happen, and their ADC Slader back in the day won the team fight. So maybe just channel a bit of that 2020 championship Flash playstyle and win the game through that kind of stuff. Focus spotted.
Yeah, focus spotted. Very early cheesy gank attempt from him, and he probably realized he is spotted as he sees the movement coming out from the bot lane. Even the Teemo thumbs up coming out from Shogun. I like the swag a little bit. Actually, I don't like it because it kind of reveals you a little bit, and it's just like a cocky play to go for. Yeah. As we see in the mid lane, bone plating on Froggy, so he can't really die to the all-in from Jace very early on, but Plating has a very high cooldown, so there might just be some windows where Jane can definitely punish this Tristana pick in the early game, and Jace is at least one of those picks in the mid lane that can match the range from Tristana, should actually have a higher range early on, as Tristana only really gets her range if the levels really exceed for her, with the draw beat passive. And so his game in this mid lane going quite slowly, and I just wonder if Samira and Leona can really play against Caitlyn Ashe.
Yeah,
it's just all in or nothing for them.
Yeah, they can't. They cannot lane, as you can see. That is really disgusting from Guri. Please let Sora play the game. He just dropped in there for a bit of poke damage.
They drafted this deliberately. They
yeah, true. You are right. They have to be punished for drafting Samira Leona into Caitlyn Ashe. Here comes the engage, though. Maybe they can find the all-in. Oh, actually forcing the flash of Taki. Now there's the counter engage, because of course Ashe can obviously shoot back. But Taki now a little bit exposed in laning phase, and we've seen him sometimes go a little too hard in laning phase and waste some kills. So now a slight opportunity for Team Flash. We do see a lot of jungle attention, though, from the side of Saigon Buffalo. They know where their bread is buttered, and Guri is instantly back under tower to annoy Sora out of his wits.
Yeah, as much as he possibly can. Also getting a Dark Harvest stack already.
Oh, come on, Guri.
The scoreboard.
Just the engage again.
Engage. Yeah, just instantly the blade will come from Puddin, and he does a lot of damage, but
that's
so much
first blood for Caitlyn.
Yeah, 1-for-1 so far, but it's a 2-for-2 in the extended play, but Puddin can't really step into the range. They also know that Guri is close to 1, so it will just be the 1-for-1. And I think considering the summoner spells blown initially, and the first one actually going to Saigon Buffalo, they are more than okay with that one. I mean, it's just Saigon Buffalo getting a bit more gold, and just a decent CS already for the Caitlyn, and Samira can't really win in any regards.
Yeah, it's not bad for Flash, but it's also not really great, right? Because now Sora doesn't have a Flash, so engaging and punishing these two squishy champions is gonna be even harder. Now, you did make it work and actually got a kill for Puddin, but as you said, he's 15 CS behind already. He's gonna lose a plating very shortly too, so this Caitlyn should get to her first item really quickly and far ahead of Puddin in terms of pace. Now 10 CS still the lead, but it should grow once again when they regain wave control. Both of them still have to reset, and honestly Caitlyn is really happy not to reset into this one, because on just one item it's way harder for Puddin and Sora to kill him compared to the extra burst damage from a second item coming in. So Caitlyn would like to stay on these item breakpoints for the rest of the game.
And why I really hate this one was because they had the summoner spell advantage, right? I mean, it was just ignite down for the flash of Taki, and then they sacrificed their summoner spell advantage just to have a 1-for-1 that's actually losing 1-for-1. So Team Flash had the upper hand and kind of dropped it one with this skirmish they had earlier on, and now
Froggy.
The earlier trade looked good for him as well. We didn't really see on screen where Jane had to walk away from the lane. Both have their flash still up, so it won't happen too much. But here's another all-in. Shogun very close to that there. That looked very scary. And no summoner spell used by the side of Flash, so right now they have the upper hand again.
Yeah, very surprising. Flash actually finding the positioning in lane, and also the ease and the skill shots from Sora to punished this Caitlyn. Now no flash on the Caitlyn, no cleanse either, no flash on Taki, so they have to play more carefully, and Putin is actually able to get ahead in CS now because they forced Shogun out of lane. So complete reversal of the earlier 2v2 happenings, and Saigon Buffalo overstep a bit.
Taki sacrifices 200 HP of his HP pool just so this wave can get frozen right here, and the minions don't really go as a sacrifice to the turret. So Shogun actually will at least get a little bit of a CS lead back for now, but just this freeze alone means that Taki has to recoil, which kind of looks awkward, but it's the correct play, of course, to sacrifice anything that you can have just so your ADC can live freely. Really a true support coming through from Taki right here. As you see the top lane again for a little bit. So far, I think Yoshino's holding out quite fine, right? I mean, Malphite against Aatrox is the best matchup. He can't really kill him, while the Aatrox can just choose himself up on this Malphite pickup. And yeah, just a tiny CS hit for Hasmet on the Aatrox. Definitely something that we didn't really expect here. Should have been a bit more than that, but I mean, Hasmet doesn't really have as good of a split as Yoshino has. And so far, game going kind of slowly. And the ADC competition from SGB, I really wonder how they really go further into this mid game. At the bot lane, it should have been more one-side than we initially expected.
Yeah, this bot lane certainly going a little bit surprisingly. Now, Caitlyn, Ashe will always be able to get lane control after a while, but they can also always die, as these two squishy champions. Top laners really like to walk into mid lane today and do nothing and leave again. That was Hasman's ultimate use as well. I'm not entirely sure why, and I think he forced Fuchs' flash, because I can see Fuchs is sitting on Hex Flash right now, so we need to replay to see what exactly happened over there. But Hasman now missing his ultimate, so the Malphite is more than fine to just chill in lane and scale up for the mid and late game.
He is, but can they force Fuchs out of the pit right here? They actually have to. I mean, that is but the priority start this wake up very, very deeply. And it's an Ocean Drake, actually it's Low's view, and SGB seems indecisive. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, SGB abandoning their plan.
Yeah, and Fukun was flashless. I think they could have just punished him a little bit more, or at least show some thought of resistance, and they kind of didn't. I mean, they have this priority bot lane just to them being Caitlyn Ashe. They force Fukun's flash, and then to ultimately no result.
Oh, good play. Good counter there from Guri, and a little bit silly from Team Flash. Do not account for Guri still being there. They didn't have a vision in the bush. They knew they just started the dragon, so at the minimum, Guri was still on the bot side of the map, so that was a little bit silly to overstep like that and go for the engage. But of course, you're playing Samira, Leona into double marksman bot lane, so you want to take any advantage, any engage opportunity you can get, and unfortunately this time Team Flash gets punished. Putin is 6 now though, so he does have a decent amount of chase down potential and damage, of course, on his ultimate, and you always want to trade ult for ult when you're Samira, because of course Samira's ult doesn't have any cooldown, so let's see if they can utilize that little bit of extra utility.
Yeah, as we see Guri making a move, but he is spotted by the sapling, of course, from Fukwan, the fake ward, the ward that actually attacks you back. Very disgusting thing. And another one for him, it's kind of like Teemu's Shrooms just chasing you. That was when Maokai was very, very strong. So far, of course, Maokai not that strong, right? I mean, he had this AP build that he really went for with the Demonic Embrace, and also the Yanris when he was very, very broken a few patches ago. Right now, we see him with the Bami Cinder, so it will just be a tanky Maokai. This game might just also be an adaptation because he's playing to so many AD carries. He maybe really wants a Sunfire Cape here. As Yoshino gets all in by the World Ender from Hasmet, could just be something where Hasmet goes for the solo kill, or at least for the flash, for the ult, for something out of him. And it might just run out. Yeah,
Yoshino just walks away, doesn't give a damn about Hasmet doing some fancy fly thingies. But now the engage on Ashe, Ashe insta-dead, now stacked ultimate for Putin. He's ready to press his ult button and just execute Shogun. But it's just one kill, and that's a 2-0 Samira. Into this composition, I didn't think it was possible, but he learned from the best, and Putin is starting to look like a big threat for the mid game.
Yeah, he absolutely does, and it's just one of those weaknesses from these AD carry compositions, right? They are strong in this power and these priority situations, but if they ever get all in any kind of shape or form, they easily die because they are just paper, and they are also immobile champions. At least the Ashe is, the Caitlyn not to the same extent, but very, very easy to focus down, and she's just a very squishy champion in general. Now we see Hasmet going for, I think, a turret plating, and he should be close to getting one. He just barely doesn't get it. That's kind of sad to see. As we see the bot lane definitely looking strong on Flash's side, and I don't think that Saigon Buffalo definitely has a winning lane right now. I mean, look at this mid lane, right? Shada wants to play this lane with a lead usually, also opting for a Blade of the Rune King start right now, which is very unusual. They usually want to have this Kraken Slayer first, and that's something that might just be the adaptation with some sustain against the Jace in this first Drake. April just reset again. This poor Drake, man. Just gets hurt a little bit and then just heals back up and gets hurt a little bit and heals back up. Not a good game to be a Drake in.
And honestly, he's staying alive longer than all the other Drakes, so maybe he's actually happy about this one. Guri, so squishy, look at him. That's essentially just the Morgana, right? Not really built to deal with this many health bars. But yeah, the bot lane situation is looking worse and worse for Saigon Buffalo because Taki has now fallen behind the experience curve so insanely far. He's level 5, so he doesn't have his ultimate, and that's a bit on Taki as well. Even the last overstep, he was still level 5, obviously. He's not level 6 yet, so he definitely wasn't level 6 back then. And you should really try to get to level 6 on the Ashe. Afterwards, roam for the rest of the game, who cares? But missing the ultimate in these crucial engagements has really cost him dearly.
I mean, you can't miss an ultimate if you don't have one, right? I mean, so maybe that's just all intended from Taki. Either way of that, just such a bad early game from Saigon Buffalo in general, I just gotta say. Like, both Tristana and Caitlyn, usually the champions that are known for having a weak mid game and kind of competent in that with them, getting into the mid game with a lead, don't have the lead anymore. It's actually Samira being ahead of him. It's a full kill for just 1 minion wave, definitely something where Samira can live happily with. And this 2000 gold that Team flashes up the first pick also in their claims, and bot lane threatened to get off. Taki instantly has to flash away. He has his ultimate by now, but he's such an easy target.
And this game looks so insanely hard to play now for Saigon Buffalo. Shogun looks very dead to me, but there's a teleport to bail him out. Now Saigon Buffalo, they need to make this counterplay work. They need some kills here because they've fallen very far behind. That's Hasmid in, and Hasmid is immediately executed. Now it's time for Puddin to shine. He has the ultimate ready in a few seconds still. Oh, but Guri on the other side. That's a double kill. That's 2 already. Froggy now on the chase. That's another kill. The big shutdown to Shogun. Oh, they found the fight. They found the fight. That's a triple kill for Shogun. It's Shogun time again.
Very important that they can actually win this fight with Hasmid inting so much on the Satox before he just instantly gets blown up with no way to really return the fire. As we see, I think the actual hero of this play is not Hasmid, who just now goes into this one and just falls so many flashes. Yeah, he just instantly dies, but the real hero for me is Gui, because look at Gui. Flash Soul Shackles is coming right now, we see it here. Also the binding beforehand, and nobody can escape from this one. It's just now Froggy, Shogun, and Taki instantly just right-clicking out of their minds to get kill after kill. Rocket jump after rocket jump for Froggy also coming in. Triple kill for Shogun, exactly where you wanted to be. And it looked disastrous for Saigon Buffalo just a minute ago. And now all of that, they're actually in the lead in the goal right now.
Oh, this is just so silly. I was ready to talk about how dismal their chances were looking at the composition, even just 1k gold down because mid-game Malphite against behind AD carries, but there's no AD carry that's behind. That's a 4-0 Caitlyn. That Caitlyn is gonna hurt, even a Malphite. And Shogun, he carried the last game with insane plays on his Zeri, now on Caitlyn, and I mean, he's the one player you would always trust to play Caitlyn, even after that laning phase.
Yeah, and he's also looking to go 1.5 items all of a sudden, right? He's actually going for Dominic's Regard second. I mean, he's playing against Malphite Maok. I kind of understand that notion. Despite usually you want to have the Infinity Edge second, especially with it being a new power spike, with the 40% already giving the bonus crit damage. And here we see Team Flash kind of going for a trap situation. Nobody from SGB facing it though, but Taki being in the somewhat close vicinity definitely deserves to lose half of his HP, but because Jace is in the game and hits an empowered shock blast at this Rift Herald charge, will at least claim this mid lane tier 1 turret. Yeah, we need to respect the Malphite flank. He is not really in vision, but now he gets revealed.
Good flash ult here, but Guri, of course, has his E ready. There is the ultimate on top of Shogun. He's executed immediately. Guri now in a really precarious situation. That's another kill. 2 over to Puddin. That's 1 counter kill at least to Guri, and in the end, it's a kill and 2... 1 turret and 2 kills, which should be... Yeah, that's another tower, so now Team Flash out of nowhere. Propelled back ahead. That's Yoshino with the big Flash ultimate engaged right on top of Shogun, who wasn't able to react in time. This is such an exciting game, but I still favor Team Flash.
Yeah, and I was waiting for this ultimate play to come from Motion, and I still couldn't quite see it. I think he just flashed mid-air on the Malphite. It's something that definitely looks very hard to counterplay on the side of Saigon Buffalo. Can't really react to this one properly. He actually gives his life for this one, but it's a double kill for Samira, and yeah, getting those 2 turrets, it means a lot for Team Flash. Also the most important turrets considering the overall map control. Definitely when you play for those Drakes, you want to have like some sort of silver lining to fall back to a turret, and now Saigon Buffalo can't really do that anymore. Especially with those AD carries, you definitely want to have that fallback option, and that's just gone for now. Hasmet, however, claiming a small consolation prize with his top lane T1 turret will equalize the gold difference to some extent at least, but Team Flash definitely looking very good in this game. Samira now on 2 items, the Infinity Edge power spike it there, she has a shield bow, she can't really get killed all that quickly, and into these champions, the Samira can definitely work. I mean, the setup is already there with Malphite Maokai, and the champions are so squishy, they just fall like flies if Samira ever gets backline access here.
And I just wanted to talk about the Samira as well, because even if you disregard this bot lane, it's really hard for the enemy team to stop Samira from ulting. Usually there's like a Sejuani Q or a Gragas E or something in the team composition that is easily able to stop Samira once she goes off, but in this game, it's really only Ashe ultimate, which shouldn't be available once Samira ults, and she can W it, or Froggy's ultimate, which, once again, she can W. So there's no clear CC to stop Puddin in the backline if he doesn't step onto a trap or onto a Guri. But even Guri's Q can be W'd. So Puddin, it's really all on him. He could, honestly, almost 1v5 later on in the game. Zora forced to flash.
Yeah, them flash pretty quickly, right? 1 Ashe arrow, and yeah, as soon as Ashe can auto-attack, the slows can just keep sticking to him, and he just has to flash away, unfortunately. That's a small win for Saigon Buffalo, but they definitely need those small wins, right, to really come back into this game. Currently, Flash definitely favored here. Up almost 2,000 gold, they just go for the second Drake, and there's no contest coming through from the side of Saigon Buffalo. They just definitely want to scale a little bit more and kind of want to hide their mid-game weakness of the Tristana and the Caitlyn to some extent. Tristana not even on a single item so far, because Froggy midway decided to just go from Blade of the Wound King to still just going Kraken Slayer, and now it's looking in a very weird spot where he just kind of has a lot of components, but no real item finished yet.
Yeah, this Tristana is weirdly further behind than I would think at this point in the game. He hasn't played horribly. Like, he even was there for all the assists in bot lane, but well, it was only assists for him, so he didn't really get much out of that roam. And he is considerably behind in global gold and especially CS, of course. So Froggy still very far away from being a scary late game Tristana threat. The one out for the double ADC composition that would struggle normally into the likes of 2 tanks on the other side, maybe even 3 tanks if you consider Leona that, is the Black Cleaver first item for Froggy, for Hasmed, who should have an easy time applying it to at least 2 of the 3 tanks. So hopefully that's going to help Caitlyn and Tristana over the mid-game humps a bit at least. But then again, I'm scared for Hasmed as well, because the last time we saw him in a teamfight setup, he didn't last more than a few seconds.
Absolutely. And now next wave spawning in a lot of time actually. I mean, we will speak about that in a few minutes, but either way, Baron very soon onto the table. It might just be also something that maybe Team Flash, considering the lead they have, actually tries to at least bait a Baron and just look what the reaction will be from the Saigon Buffalo if they actually try to go for a fight there. I mean, the item power spike's not really there, but they are starting to get completed slowly but surely, right? I mean, just now Froggy finishing this Kraken Slayer, actually sitting on the Vamp Scepter for now, that might just use the lifesteal to work with against the J sustain. Also, if he ever happens to get engaged, John can just work with the lifesteal to survive someone he otherwise wouldn't survive. So that's the way he's really going for. As Shogun is close to finish the second item.
Jace.
Yeah, the Edge lands.
Hasmed needs to be careful, can't overcommit too much. Yeah, they can't really follow up. Their composition is absolutely horrible at chasing down targets. They are decent in choke points because of Froggy and Guri controlling those. Even Hasmed is quite decent. But in a straight line, or trying to run down a lane, their composition does absolutely nothing. So good attempt there, Taki, with good accuracy so far, but they can't really push into or try to punish for a whole kill. So now Team Flash back on the offensive. Jane just teleports back, and suddenly it looks way better for Flash.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Taki can to some extent actually run them down, but he I mean, he
Wow,
can
put
fire these ults from like 2000 range and actually global range, but he needs to be in volley or auto attack range to really chase him down. And just now he kind of wasn't. Jane could just easily flash out. It's just one ult for a flash burn. Something that is, of course, okay for Saigon Buffalo is a small win actually, but that in the bigger scheme of things, probably not enough to really make any use of it. It's just a flash from the Jace. He could just play back from his very huge range as well and just work these next few minutes out for himself. As now the game kind of slowing down. Baron now being spawned. But also, like, no team really wants to start this plan really early. Oh, I say that. Actually, Flash does exactly that. And that's the thing, right? At least, like, force a reaction out of Saigon Buffalo, and they can just pull away from that one if they see the reaction is appropriate. They aren't really taking much damage from it. Actually, pulling
the
kind of
Ashy.
is. Yeah,
Oh, they might.
see it,
Yeah,
but
they have it already. That's
too
Baron
late.
going down. That's way too late. But maybe Saigon Buffalo can punish as Team Flash is quite low. Here comes the fight. Hasmet on the flank. Puddin is half HP. If they get on Puddin, they could maybe... Oh, Hasmet is already dead, though. Taki on the other side struggling against Yoshino. That's Froggy down as well. Shogun is desperately trying to get anything. That's one kill at least. And they need to chase because they've already committed to the fight and it's going horribly wrong. Puddin, maybe they can somehow shut down Puddin, but he's protected by some of the other players on this team. And look at that. Flash win the team fight and they get Baron, which will persist really nicely into the third dragon as well. Flash has all the trumps in their hand.
Absolutely. Just the Baron being started and the reaction was too late. I mean, ultimately the vision game wasn't really stronger. They have been behind these last few minutes and I like this from Team Flash, but this is at least like showing some decisiveness. That decisiveness that they didn't really have in the first game, and that's something that they can really work with this game. Just sacrificing Yoshino completely okay to get a Baron, get 2 kills up more on the sleeves, and then definitely being favored for this next Drake fight. Fukwon actually the one to tank this Ash Arrow, so nobody who has to do damage is really being hit. They have to walk through this Nature's Grasp field, and Hasmet, yeah, goes to the World Ender, but he's not that strong that he can't just get blown up to pieces here, so he very, very quickly falls, as well as Froggy does, and now the rest of the team kind of chasing it down. Yoshino body blocking a lot of spells, ultimately falls down as a sacrificial lamb, but it's still fine for Team Flash, right? They can't really chase into this, as now Jane lands a huge shock blast onto the bot lane from Saigon Buffalo, and you don't want to fight into this one. You are now down quite a bit of gold. Will probably lose his third Drake, and Froggy, he might just get one down by Yoshino actually.
If Hasmet here, but Yoshino is not taking any damage from Froggy. I think Yoshino could maybe even just ignore Hasmet and go for the kill on Froggy anyway. Meanwhile, his team is getting the first Mountain Drake, and that's a Mountain Drake against a full AD composition and Morgana, okay, whatever. But almost full AD composition, and that Malphite, I would guess his armor to be something like 350 to 370 right now. So that is going to be more and more unbeatable from all these ADCs on Saigon Buffalo's side.
His damage partly also scales with armor, right? So he actually hits like a truck with that armor initially, if he just sends a good ground slam plus thunderclap combination. So this will be the inhibitor turret. They TP onto the wave to guarantee the push coming through. And now the threat of the dive is always there. Right?
Shogun getting hit again.
Yeah, the strongest player of the team, just getting basically blown up before the fight really starts. He didn't die, but the damage is still done, literally, and they can't just position around this inhibitor to defend it. So this will just be inhibitor being down for free, almost for Team Flash. Just on the back of Jane, landing one empowered shock blast. That's enough for that one. And they still have Baron for a few more seconds. It will probably not be enough to secure another inhibitor, but they are still posing around it. They might just go for the dive anyway, if the wave is in.
And honestly, they could. The enemy team is still very squishy. Yoshino does a flash again. So if Shogun and Taki ever walk close together, maybe there's a flash ultimate opportunity. Here comes the posture Puddin. It's not the greatest champ to kill towers, but they're still making good progress. Hasmet now with the engage. That's a lot of damage onto Puddin. He has to flash away. Hasmet's still alive this time around, and Yoshino overcommitted. Now it's on Taki and Shogun. Oh no, they might have squandered their opportunity. That is another huge triple kill for Shogun. And not again. Flash with another overcommitment. The dive wasn't it.
Yeah, that was just too impatient, but I mean, I was speaking about it, but the Baron kind of expiring, the waves being very, very thin, so they actually tank the turret all the time. They can't finish Shogun quickly enough, so he can just kind of fight out and get a triple kill right there. Taki also with the volley slow being there, they actually kill Hasmet, but at a very huge cost, of course. With them also having to play inside the soul shackles of Guri, not really the fight they were really looking for. And they give Saigon Buffalo a fight that they didn't really deserve at this point. Here they are going for it. Zenithblade being down, Hasmet on the world ender can at least land some damage before he really dies. Good flash coming from Shogun, also using the Gale Force to get some additional protection, and That's like the thing we say from draft onwards, right? The initial engage is super, super strong from Team Flash, but if it doesn't quite land,
Yeah.
the aftermath is just all Saigon Buffalo favored.
Yeah, and now Shogun 8-1. Can he get to IE for the next fight? Because that is gonna hurt. He should be close now. The problem is still the damage is almost singularly on Shogun, though the top side has actually put together some decent items. And I really like something they did differently this time in the fight. Hasmed got the the shield from Guri this time around, so he wasn't shut down instantly with all this melee CC coming in from Flash. They tried to shut him down again with Fook and Sora heavily trying to CC him at the start of the fight, but this time around, with the black shield, he was able to just get on top of Puddin, and now Puddin without his Flash for the next fight as well. That should also last till the Dragon, though the same is true for Shogun, so it's harder for Shogun now to avoid Yoshino's ultimate. Yoshino kept his Flash, so that's definitely a possibility. This game is getting spicier than it should have gotten.
It absolutely shouldn't be that spicy. I mean, Team Flash definitely had it in the bag as soon as they win these first few skirmishes in the bot lane with Samir Leona working better than they initially expected it. And now it's Team Flash. Yeah, having a lead, but it should have been way bigger when we addressed it earlier. When the next Baron spawning in a bit more than 30 seconds. The question, however, is can Saigon Buffalo really find an entrance there? The Infinity Edge is at least completed for the side of Shogun. And now for the side of Team Flash, they can at least still bait the Baron just like the other one before and maybe even win a fight right there and then potentially finish the game as the inhibitor turret in the bot lane is already being taken. There was a fail dive for them, but it doesn't mean that it's still not their game to lose. It's still very much in Team Flash's hands, but we have seen their over-aggressive tendencies, also like their impatience to some extent, and Saigon Buffalo is definitely ready to punish this one.
Hey, Froggy almost dealt damage to Yoshino. It's coming. Froggy, of course, going a more defensive build here with the Bloodthirster second item. So the only damage he really deals to Yoshino are the rare Kraken Slayer stacks applying. Unfortunately, he's really not the player to kill Yoshino, but he does have Shogun with his armor pen. Oh, good dodge from Jane. Jane spotted that somewhere? Or was it just
ulted
instinct?
as well. I don't know. Might just been good sidestepping or good communication that they saw the arrow coming on anyone on the side of Team Flash. Either way, the Barons are being started, and I think it should be given away.
Yeah,
Hasmet doesn't have its ultimate. What they should do is what they are doing right now, abuse the reset time and just instantly go for the Drake and deny the soul, because while Team Flash is in the lead, they have the Baron, they probably can't just get positioning on this Drake, and this should be something that Saigon Buffalo might just rush down before Flash really arrives. But also Flash, on their side, they're just going for the end, or just for the finish.
Froggy, why are you here?
Froggy. I don't know.
Somehow
maybe just to defend this push.
Wait,
But he
somehow
doesn't really
Froggy
get
is
the
alive?
wave. They should just ignore Froggy and go for the push.
Okay, Froggy can lifesteal, so there's no wave, but they don't need a wave because it's only an inhibitor, not an inhibitor tower. They made it back to base, so it's an inhibitor traded for the Dragon. I think that's actually fine for Saigon Buffalo. They did get the gold shutdown, the objective shutdown on the Dragon too, so that's even more global gold now for Saigon Buffalo. 2 inhibitors down. We already saw a game today with MBE against SPDC where they fought for 10 minutes against 2 inhibitors, so it is possible, and Caitlyn is maybe the most famous champion at defending triple inhibitor games. We've seen multiple, they're historic examples where the Caitlyn carries every team fight after. So this is slowly getting out of hand for Flash. They're still the heavy favorites to win this game, but it's not as easy as it should have been.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it goes out of hand for them, but it just gets more to a 50-50 than it actually should be. I mean, it just used to be like a 70-30, now it's like a 60-40 game. And these inhibitors actually playing in the favor of SGB as long as they actually can hold their Nexus turrets. It's just bonus gold, bonus XP for them. We have seen in the first team, as you mentioned, with the team playing from behind actually to some extent coming back in this game. And Samir also one of those kind of cheesy champions that relies on those instant all-ins. And this instant all-in gets weaker and weaker the longer this game goes, as Shogun gets more tools in his arsenal to really work against it with better lifesteal, with better crit on his Infinity Edge Caitlyn gameplay, and also the Gale Force being there for him, maybe even a QSS at some extent, at some point for him. And
so
now
it's
it
engaged
might
on
be
this
a
last
fight.
minute in. Oh, look at Yoshino. Yoshino has his ultimate, his Flash available. He's holding on to it, so they do have the threat still remaining. Husband is kind of useless for the next fight, so now Flash in a really strong position to push down the third inhibitor too. SGB wasn't able to defend the mid lane inhibitor, and now the bot lane is definitely under siege soon. See, the minion waves are getting pinged over there. Question mark from Saigon Buffalo on the bot lane. Team Flash does not want to wait for their minions. They're already back in the base, and they are ready to go, already attacking the inhibitor, and Saigon Buffalo needs to find something to do. Hasmet is really only a bait at this point. Without his ultimate, he will go down in an instant, and will they fight for this inhibitor?
I think they will. They are smarter than what Box did in the first series. They actually know that this inhibitor is worth very, very much so. Despite SBC not really punching it, Team Flash is definitely a team that could also just like do this. So this inhibitor turret, this inhibitor itself, definitely something that they have to play for.
The inhibitor is down.
Actually go up, but the fight itself could work.
Hasmet is here. Oh, that's a good... Oh, another good flash. Yoshino is down. Putin had to flash away again. Putin in a really precarious situation, and this looks like Saigon Buffalo, but now Putin is here. Putin with the ultimate. He's on top of Shogun. Shogun goes down to Jane. Jane got another auto attack off, but Hasmet is back. He has his ultimate back available, and this should be another fight. One from Saigon Buffalo. They lose the inhibitor, but another triple kill, this time for Guri, secures another fight win.
Yeah, Guri yet again being the unsung hero of this fight, or maybe even the sung hero, because we definitely give him the credit here with the shoulder shackles and the flash play definitely did there. And Yoshino, as well as Putin, using everything to get Shogun down. They actually managed to get him down, but at what cost? They actually lose this fight yet again, get this last inhibitor, which will be very strong for them, but at the cost of losing the fight. And as long as Saigon Buffalo can hold the Nexus turret, they can probably live with that one, because it is just bonus gold, bonus XP for them. And as long as the base stands, it's still fine for them. The ADC is definitely starting to scale into this game, and we see yet again that this initial engage definitely has to land. It might just already be arguably outscaled by the side of what Saigon Buffalo brings to the table. And they need to work hard in these next few minutes. We see the inhibitor timers in the left corner at the bottom side of the screen. If those timers run out and no Nexus turret is falling, I would favor Saigon Buffalo in this game, as long as Team Flash doesn't just get Baron and Elder and the Soul or something.
They will definitely get the Soul. I don't think there's anything Saigon Buffalo can do to prevent the Soul from falling now that three inhibitor super minions will stream into the base constantly for the next few minutes. So that should be free, unless something really weird happens. Flash should just play it cool and calm and collected and just go to the Soul and... move on from there, because the fights have been scary. Look at the items coming in. It's now an attack speed item being built for Shogun. Still no penetration for Froggy, but he's getting stronger and stronger too. And remember, there is the Black Cleaver on Hasmet, so it's not without any penetration. I still think he should probably go for a little bit of pen now. And once Froggy is sitting on 4 items, then suddenly they have 2 super scaled ADCs. Attack speed now built for Shogun. He can stay very far away now with the rapid fire cannon on Caitlyn, one of the highest range attacks in the game. So this is getting better and better in terms of teamfight setup for Saigon Buffalo. Unfortunately, they will have to deal with a big Mountain Soul.
I would say the highest range, but there's of course still infinite scaling Senna, right? There's another champion with such a high range. You know which one? Tristana, actually, level 18.
Yeah, true.
That's just what Froggy hit. Nice timing, actually. Either way, Mountain Soul uncontested for the side of Team Flash, and yeah, the range very, very high for the side of Saigon Buffalo. Actually, rapid fire cannon kind of a meme item on Caitlyn. Usually it's criticized very heavily, but I think against this hard engage from Yoshino, against what Leona, Samira, Maoka really bring to the table, I think it's a very fine purchase to just get these auto attacks really in. And I mean, of course, otherwise you would like something like Phantom Dancer or something. But either way, he goes for the safe route. Also, adds a stopwatch for good measure on top of that one. Will likely make it to a GA at some point if it goes later on. Also, a very good item to deny a potential pseudo reset from the Samira really going strong. So now Saigon Buffalo defending for this next few minutes. One inhibitor already respawned. They gave away the soul uncontested, and I think that's kind of fine because you couldn't fight for it anyway. And I mean, you win these fights in the DPS check department anyway. I mean, those tanks being a bit more tankier doesn't really change the game that much, right? It just extends the fights even longer, and extended fights are like the bread and butter in this composition. So them being even tankier actually might be something that Team Flash doesn't really make good use of because they were tanky anyway.
Yeah,
so
and if you look at the shields...
much rather have Hextech or Infernal Soul, either way. Or it's probably okay to give it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a strong soul, but it's definitely not the one that would really change much about Flash, because I think a damage soul would actually be better in this case, because, as you said, they lose the damage check, so more tankiness doesn't really help, as we have the engage. This time, Saigon Buffalo ready to defend the inhibitor. It's down to half HP already, and Saigon Buffalo's ADCs can't really get into position. The inhibitor goes down. Hasmet on the chase, but he might have overstepped. That was a very, very close Zenith Blade. He'd still get stunned, and all the CC on Hasmet. He goes down. Putin very far into the backline. Maybe you have to overstep on the other side. Froggy, where did you go? Guri still on the chase, Putin with a very clutch W to defend against that one. That's gonna be 3 inhibitors down Yet again, Saigon Buffalo unable to stand their ground. That's Baron building minions. Streaming into the base. There's a
They go for
teleport.
it, but now they know now's the chance. Husband is actually down. There's a 5v4 with Soul and Baron. They are going for the all-in.
Ooh, this is the end of the game. Shogun is completely isolated. He goes down. Finally, they killed Shogun, and that's gonna be Flash. Finally fighting the deciding pick and actually finishing the game. So many games today are fought in one base. Blue base today under siege every single game, and Flash make it out of there. Win game number 2.